What's up guys, Stu here, and welcome to not just a new video, but a new angle of shooting in this room. I mean, I'm going to run out eventually. There's only so many walls and corners that I can get in the background of these shots, but I wasn't lying in that update video when I said I'd try. So today's not a review as usual. Oh baby, it's list time. That's right, it's time to run down my favourite films of the year so far. Because, I mean, it's a little bit later in July than I'd like to be doing this, but we're in ruddy July now, which means we are technically over halfway through the year. I'm cutting it fine, I know, but, you know, stick with me. So what better time is there, really? I mean, well, there isn't a better time to go through a halfway point of the year best of. These are my top 5 favourite films of 2018 so far. And this is obviously a list which is continuously changing. We haven't finished the year yet, so I've no doubt this list is going to be a little bit different when we come to it at the end of the year. I did only recently, like a week ago, go on my good friend Chase over at A Few Mixed Reviews podcast where we chatted about our top 5 favourites of the year so far. And, you know, it's the same list, but I have since then, you know, tweaked the numbers a little bit. A couple of swapperoonies in there. So, yeah, it's still changing, even within the week. But as of now, as of today, on, what is it, 6th of July, this is my list. And what a year it's been. Full of surprises, some good, some we don't need to talk about. I mean, if you were to tell me last year, hey, look, we're going to have a film where The Rock beats up giant mutated animals, there's a huge gorilla, it all goes down, I'd be like, yes, sign me up. And then you see it. But we've also already had a Star Wars film this year, which just feels weird to be sat here saying. But on the Star Wars side of things, it's been a year filled with, let's call it some disagreement in the Star Wars fan base. Things are just kicking off left, right and centre, and that's probably the best way to describe 2018 so far, just overall, in general. No one's getting along, and what a time it is. But things we can agree on, here's that segue, is cinema is still doing its thing. I mean, there's been some shit, but it's looking good. It's looking good for film this year. So let's dive straight into the metaphorical pool of film lists on YouTube with number 5, which is going this year to Truth or Dare. And that's a joke. Thank you very much, ladies. Oh, cheers. Thank you, really. No, my pleasure. Fuck Truth or Dare. The real number 5 is I Love Dogs, which I have had recently pointed out to me does sound like I love dogs. I'm more of a cat person. Whoa. But no, it's the newest film from Wes Anderson, who's one of those directors at this point he shouldn't really be doing as well as he is, because you kind of, in many ways, know exactly what you're getting in for in a Wes Anderson film, and it usually does it. But it's still amazing. He's got a style that you either love or hate. I'm firmly on the love side, big fan of a lot of his work, and I'm also a big fan of animation and stop-motion animation, which I Love Dogs is. There's a lot of fun. Obviously, Wes Anderson's going to bring this kind of quirkiness to the worlds that he creates in his films. That's a given, and I liked what he did with this one, with this kind of community of dogs. One of the earlier, stronger films that stood out this year, and I was like, yeah, that was just a good film, wasn't it? And I mean, the cast as well. We shouldn't really give films on this list a place just because of the cast, but it is always tempting to, and I Love Dogs has got a scorcher of one. Really, just anything with Tilda Swinton in would do it for me. That's what I've started to learn about myself this year. So yeah, I Love Dogs slip and slides swiftly into number 5 there. Just wondering how many summer-related puns I can get into this video. We'll see. At number 4, though, we're swapping out dogs for, well, just general pain and turmoil. It's Annihilation. And this is a film which I'm still bitter about because we never got a theatrical release in the UK. But no, it's the latest directorial effort from Alex Garland, who did Ex Machina, which was a fantastic little sci-fi kind of thriller. And he just kind of knocked it out the park here, didn't he? I'm a big fan of sci-fi, not least because if done right, it usually is a good way of exploring different, new, fresh, crazy batshit ideas. And I think that's safe to say that Annihilation did that one, didn't it? I mean, the end of this film, what's going on? Shimmery, shiny Natalie Portman everywhere, but I was having a great time with it. And it is filled with insane, mind-bending, headfuck moments that you just want from a good sci-fi in 2018. Not least the scene with that weird skull bear thing. Holy shit, that is one of the most imaginative, creative horror sequences I've seen this year. And it says a lot about the film that, what, we're halfway through the year now? It's been a while since Annihilation came out, and I still go back to that scene in my mind. If I'm lying in bed for too long, and my head's like, hey, we're not done yet today, have this thought, it'll usually drop that scene in. And I don't get any sleep. Filled with great moments like that, great performances, fantastic sci-fi exploration of different ideas. Look, it's not perfect, but it did annihilate a lot of other competition for the list. But now we take a nice leisurely summer stroll. You know, it's sun's out, not a cloud in the sky. Maybe you've got an ice lolly. Enjoy the walk. We're walking from number 4 to 3. These summer puns, man. Number 3 on the list goes to Avengers Infinity War. No surprises that one makes it on the list. It was mental. It's very easy to get cynical about big cinematic franchises, cinematic universes. But honestly, I loved it. I loved this film. If you were to tell me a couple of years ago, hey, we're going to have a film with, what is it, like 32 superheroes, something like that in it, I'd go, you're mental. It's not going to work. You're going to fail. Well, they didn't. It did a fantastic job of balancing so many different superheroes. Some stand out now as favourites for me, and they didn't before. Thor, for one, is an absolute ruddy badass right now. You tell me you watched Infinity War and saw that fucking hammer slamming moment and weren't just like, please get in my bed. Jesus, I think I'm in love with him. But no, Infinity War is great, fantastic action, great villain, which is, you know, quite hard to come across in the overall scheme of Marvel films. I mean, Josh Brolin's been in everything this year, but it was great as Thanos, and it was powerful. I haven't been that moved and shocked by a superhero film genuinely in quite some time, and that's always a refreshing feeling to get, especially going into a Marvel film. It stood up on repeat viewings. I really can't wait for it to come out so I can just whack it on that TV and go straight back into my feelings again. It did things to me, guys. It did things to me. Even when we know that there's a 4th one, I'm still sad. So that is Avengers Infinity War at number 3, but this list is not infinite. In fact, it's very finite. There's only 2 more slots. Can you tell I'm pushing for segues here? Coming in at number 2 is a recent addition to the list, one that I only saw this weekend. I am sure that this one and my number 1 spot are going to be in my top 10 of the year at the end of 2018. But number 2 goes to Leave No Trace, which is of course a new film from Deborah Granick. God, it's good. It is just so good. It's easily one of the most powerful kind of human, emotional films this year. Amazing performances. Ben Foster's wonderful, but a great new performance from Thomasin McKenzie, who smashes it. One of my favourite performances of the year. But it is just one of the most kind of raw, authentic. How many more cliche words can I get in a review, Stu? You can do it. Let's see what you've got. Films I've seen all year. God, it's good. People that are seeing it are loving it, but not enough people are seeing it. So go out and see it. It's showing in a load of different sort of indie theatres in London. If you're close to one, just run and see Leave No Trace if you get the chance. And it's just one of those sort of great slow burn films which you're never uninterested by and you're always just willing to go with. It could have taken me anywhere and I was on board. When you've got a relationship like this at the forefront of your film, you're gonna smash it. It was powerful, I was moved by it, and I cried a whole lot of tears in that cinema. It's a good thing the lights weren't up, because people would have been like, what is happening to that man? Someone call an ambulance. Oh no, he's just crying. He's just crying. That's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. And now, like the many layers of Around Trees Fruit Pastels Ice Lolly, we've gone from the bottom up to the top. Summer Punch. Coming in at number 1, you might be able to guess already, is a film which, I mean, really blew me away from a genre that I love. It's Hereditary. I love it when a film comes along in the horror genre, does something different and interesting and fresh, and is still able to genuinely fuck me up more than a lot of other horror films I've seen. And Hereditary did just that for me. And it has pretty much everything that I find scary. If you talk to me in everyday life, you'll probably work out that there are a few things that shake me up. And I went and saw Hereditary. Sure enough, they're all fucking in here. Ari Aster's direction's fantastic. I mean, as a feature-length debut for him, the dude blew it away. I don't know how he did it. It's one of those films which makes you think it's going to scare you one way, and then it's like, kablammy, here's another way of scaring you. And it's all the more scary for that. I mean, there's moments, images, sequences in this film which are going to stick with me for life. So thanks for that, Toni Collette. Why are you too good as an actress? Honestly, I feel like Toni Collette is one of my favourite performances of the year, and I just love the way that this story unravels. At first, you are, what is going on, you know? It is a big old mystery. I like peeling away the layers and eventually discovering exactly what's going on here. And exactly what's going on here is fucking terrifying. No, it was a deeply, deeply unsettling film. I've seen it a couple of times now in the theatre. Both times, I'm sweating like a motherfucker. So if you do want to go see it, just make sure, you know, you wear as little clothes as you can. And, well, don't go naked. No one wants to be that guy. Sat next to a naked guy watching Hereditary. Not where I want to be. And the weird thing is that despite how much it shook me up and despite how unnerving and dread-filled the experience of watching Hereditary was, I still want to watch it again. Outside of being able to scare you as a film, it is fantastic. So, Hereditary is my #1 favourite film of 2018 so far. I guess it's early days though. The next 6 months, anything could go. Usually that is the better half of the year in cinema, at least for us over here in the UK, because we got to wait a bit for some of the better films that the US are getting. I mean, it's looking good. It's looking like there are some good ones. We got a couple of films coming out with my boy Timmy in it, from Call Me By Your Name, Timmy Chalamet, who I forever love, so immediately I feel like they have a bit of an unfair advantage there. I'm sure they'll make their way into some kind of list at the end of this year. But we'll see how it goes. At this point, 2018's doing pretty good, but there's also been some shit. So it's a pretty well-rounded year, I'd say. But if you want to see what I thought about any other films that have been coming out this year that I've been seeing, my ratings on those, and anything that didn't quite make this top 5 of the year so far list, as usual, I have got a list building on Letterboxd, so I'll put the link for that in the description below. You can find a list on there for everything that I've seen in 2018, but also let me know what your guys' favourite films of 2018 are as well in the comments down below. Love to know. It seems to be very varied at this point. That's the good thing about doing a list halfway through the year. A lot of people have seen a lot of different things, and a lot of people are getting a lot of different things from films, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of very different, varied lists from you guys. Let me know what your favourites are of 2018 so far down below. I'd love to know. I also have to let you guys know that this is going to be the last video for a short while, only about a week or so, just because I'm very busy in the coming week, and then I've got a festival that I'm going to at the end of that week, so stay tuned, alright? There will be something coming out in the latter half of July, but for the next week or so, a short little break from me here, so you can either not watch anything I do, or catch up on some videos you've missed, whatever you want to do there. As usual, if you did enjoy this video and you want to see me talk about more shit, please do consider clicking subscribe, or that little ringy dingy bell button, whatever you want to do there. It just means that you won't miss any of my future videos or reviews, so please, yeah, do go ahead and click any of those buttons. It really helps me out. I'm gonna go and probably pass away from the heat. I'm not built for this. Someone help me. But until next time, stay beautiful, mother truckers.